warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Elok Himawati. I am from Group 4, which members of Takhul, Ulummil, Makripah, Muhtar, Novitasari, and Widya Dwi Lestari. Now we will tell you about how to read, how to present, and how to interpreting the line graph, pie chart, bar chart, and table. Let's get started.
My name is Takhul from Muhtar. Now I will tell you about how to read, how to present, and how to interpreting the line graph. The line graph illustrates the amount of three kinds of spreads: margarine, low-fat, and reduced spreads protein, which were consumed over 26 years from 1981 to 2007. Units are measured in grams. Overall, the consumption of margarine and about decreased over the period given, while for low-fat and reduced spreads, it rose. At the start of the period, butter was the most popular spread, which was replaced by margarine from 1991 to 2001. And following that, low-fat and reduced spreads became the most widely used spread in the final years. With regards to the amount of butter used, it began at around 140 grams and then peaked at 160 grams in 1986 before falling dramatically to about 50 grams in the last year. Likewise, approximately 90 grams of margarine was eaten in the first year, after which the figure fluctuated slightly and dropped to a low of 40 grams in 2007. On the other hand, the consumption of low-fat and reduced spreads only started in 1996 at about 10 grams. This figure, which reached a height of just over 80 grams 5 years later, fell slightly in the final years to approximately 70 grams in 2007.
My name is Elok Himawati. Now I will tell you about how to read, how to present, and how to interpreting the pie chart. This is the example of pie chart. The two pie charts compare the percentage of online sales across different retail sectors in Canada in the year 2005 and 2010. For three of the sectors, it is evident that over this time frames, there was significant change in their proportion of online transactions. At 35%, we can see that electronic and appliance sector accounted for the majority of online sales in 2005, but this percentage had dropped to 30% by 2010. During the same 5 years period, as an increasing number of people choose to purchase food and beverage online, we can see that transactions went from just 22% to 32%, making it the retail sector with the largest overall proportion of the online market. In 2005, the home furnishing industry posted an impressive 25% of the total online sales in Canada. However, by 2010, the figure had fallen considerably to 15%. Interestingly, online sales of video games eventually overtook sales of home furnishing, although video games still represented only 23% of the market.
My name is Novitasari. Now I will tell you about how to read, how to present, and how to interpreting the bar chart. This is example bar chart. The bar chart represents the type of transportation citizens of the European country used to travel to and from their workplace in three different years: 1960, 1980, and 2000. As an overall trend calculated of huge popularity as the method of commuting, while bus class the appeal as a viable made of communication to this European. As the bar chart showcases, around 4 out of 10 of these Europeans use buses to reach their office and to get back home in 1900 cities. Tubes were the second most preferred mode of transportation as more 25% people took this from a vehicle. Interestingly, only around 1 in every 18 people use car to travel, while trains were preferred by wrongly 18% citizens. For communicating to and to from office, after 2 decades, trains and personal cars gained their most as more than half of the population use these two forms of transportation. Tubes and buses retain less and buses seem like less its attraction as a mode of transportation. Finally, in 2000, more than one-third of these European trains started using car, while only 15% of them use buses to travel to and from their workplace. Tubes retain almost one-fourth of the commuters, while train usage stood just about 20%.
My name is Widya Dwi Lestari, and I will tell you how to read, how to present, and how to interpreting the table. The table illustrates the proportion of national expenditure in Ireland, Italy, Spain, Sweden, and Turkey on 3 types of consumer items in 2002. Overall, the category of consumer goods that all countries spend most of on was food, drinks, and tobacco, which was 3 times higher than on the other types of goods. The lowest spending could be seen in the category of leisure and education in all 5 countries. The outlay of Turkey was generally higher than the other 4 countries. In terms of food, drinks, and tobacco, Turkey spent the most at 32.14%. The expenditure of Ireland and was also high, 28.90% compared to Sweden, which is spent the least, 15.77%. Spain and Italy spent 18.80% and 16.36% respectively. On the other hand, the lowest expenditure was on leisure and education, which accounted for under 5% in all countries. Turkey spent most of these items at just 4.35% on their national expenditure, which is around double that of Spain, 1.98%. Clothing and footwear was the third category of consumer goods, and outlets for those items were between 9% in Italy and 5.40% in Sweden. The national spending in this area for the remaining countries averaged around 6.5%.
Well everyone, the last I say thanks for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.